Hello everybody. I wanted to do a quick flip through of my most recent project. This is using the 4x4 Buildable album from Ali Edwards travel collection for 2022. I'm gonna give a little bit of a backstory. This was a trip that we had taken to the Blue Ridge Mountains in 2015. And when I got home and was going through all of my pictures and backing them up, I inadvertently deleted about half, maybe even a little bit more than half of my pictures and lost them forever. So I really wasn't even going to document this, except for just the few pictures I would put in a page in my Project Life album. But when this 4x4 album came out, I thought, this might be actually perfect for a trip that really didn't have a whole lot of pictures. So yeah, it's not too chunky. And I was able to get just about all of the pictures that I took and that were saved into this album, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. In fact, I ended up liking this so much that I have decided I'm going to do my December daily album this year in a 4x4. I kept it pretty simple. I did not do a lot of play, and a lot of flip outs or, a lot of like those fun pages that are interactive. I think I did a couple, but I mostly just focused on the pictures and the stories, and that's about it. I did take the travel class, or I bought the travel class bundle, and I watched Elizabeth Hines when she did her 4x4 album, and I was able to use her idea of dividing it up in like subject. So I didn't do it chronologically. I just divided it up into four kind of topics during our trip. And that really helped kind of organize my thoughts and my embellishments. I also went through the embellishments and just weeded out anything that I knew wasn't going to apply to this trip. And I think almost everything was used. Most everything was from the travel collection from this year. There might be a few other things in there. So here it is. So this was, I just did Cricut vinyl on the cover just for a simple title. There's no dimension to it. I just put the vinyl right on the cover. This was kind of my reason why I didn't, just a very simple, kind of introductory kind of journaling to the album. And I used this washi tape throughout the album. You'll see in the other places I used it. This was from the packaging that the main kit came in. So the first section was about the cabin that we had rented, and I did some journaling. And this was the first time using the printable clear sticker paper by Miko. I know several people have recommended it, and this was the first time I used it, and I loved it. I like to use my handwriting in a lot of my layouts and my albums, but because this was a small album and I had a lot to say, I knew that typing it out, I was going to be able to get more onto these journaling cards. Here you can see the washi tape I used on the back. And then these are the pictures that I printed. I was careful when I printed them to make sure that I used this white margin to punch the holes. And I just did simple embellishing or some stamping a little bit with the StazOn ink. And then I just backed the pictures together. I just adhered them together and made them a page. So I'm just gonna flip through these. This was a 4x4 frame from my stash. I don't know who it's from. This was just an extra little story that I used. I just used a couple of the journal cards. I think that this was from another one of her story or travel kits from a couple years ago, I believe. I did some stamping there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. You know, I feel like sometimes you just want your pictures to really stand out in your albums. And so by using simple little embellishments, just, you know, some hearts, a little bit of wood veneer, I really feel like the pictures stood out here. I'm also not a huge fan of wood veneer, but I tried to use it where I could in this album just to kind of use up some of my stash. But, and I also felt like because it was, you know, in the mountains with a lot of, you know, nature and trees, there was, that the wood kind of went with it, so. And then this was the second part. This was just pictures of a little bit of around the town of Blue Ridge. This was one of the, this was the grocery store that was in town. Because we stayed, this was our first time staying in like a VRBO or Airbnb. I don't remember who we rented it with. We did a lot of cooking there at the cabin. So we would stop by here every day, every other day, and grab food for dinner, just depending on what we wanted. And this, we always laugh because this grocery store was so huge. And like my husband could stand on one end and I could stand on the other, and we would like, you couldn't even see each other. It was so far away. It was probably the biggest grocery store I've been in. This was a panoramic photo that I used, or that I printed and then just divided and placed on my album. I really like the effect that that gave. And then this was and like the next section, and it had they just did a lot of fishing behind our cabin. Our cabin was on a lake, and my girls and my husband would just go out there and fish. They didn't catch anything the whole time they were there because I think it was too cold, but my girls sat there for hours and tried to catch fish. And then this was another overlay that I just stapled on with the tiny attacher. I was looking for the right picture to use this with, and I felt like that really worked well. And then one day we went to the Toccoa River, which was really beautiful. We did a little bit of hiking and exploring. And these pictures were from like 2015. So I didn't have, like they weren't like the greatest quality. And so I did do some editing. I had to brighten up some pictures. I cropped a lot. But I am learning more and more how to edit my pictures. And I don't use Photoshop. So I just edit them on my phone is how I do those. And then I think this was the only interactive page that I really had. This was a journal card that I cut up. And then and this was just one picture. Let me zoom out a little bit. This was a picture of the river, and I just folded it here and then created a flip up. And then this was my journaling to kind of close out my album. So this was a fun project. It was very doable. It was, I think it's the perfect album size to use for something that you don't have a lot of pictures with, but that still deserves its own album. So yeah, I will definitely be trying this 4x4 album size out with December Daily this year. Thank you for watching.